pattern in long-haired cavies. Okay, first we're going to look at what I call the balance of the points. These are the American points, and this shows us where we need to put our emphasis in when assessing the color. Tan patterns, all of them, your markings are worth 30 points. Your body color is worth 10, and all of your little parts are worth a few points each. Some of them only 5, some of them down to 2 points. This is when your markings are a total of 40 points, I think. So when we're looking at our long-haired breeds, we have to consider our markings are going to be worth half of what our total color points are. The other half will go to the quality of the colors. Next slide, please. Okay, this is what color's worth on all of the long-haired breeds. 10 points each. So you have 10 points to split up all of those little variables that we have going on a tan pattern cavy. Next slide, please. Okay, so you're presented with this. You look at it, it looks like just a black cavy. You lift up the frontal and you see you have a marten. Next slide. Okay, so there's 10 points on the color. Half of those go to the quality of the top color, the marking color, with the top color carrying a bit more weight. The top color is quite good on that cavy, so you give a lot of those 5 points towards the quality of the colors. The other half points go to those markings. The belly band carries a third of your total markings. So now we're looking at, that belly band is worth 1.5 points on any of your tan pattern long hairs. The rest of the markings are worth the other 2/3 of the 5 points, which is 3.5 points total on all of your markings on a tan pattern long hair. Next, please. This one here is quite overmarked. If you want to fault it, 1 point would be extreme because there's so few points total when you get down to that level. Next. As with the long-haired agoutis, you often see a muddier belly band on your tan patterns. Don't be overly concerned about that. You're not going to see the bright bellies that we do on the short-haired cavies. Lacing, this is a baby alpaca. I used the picture, I know it's not an arbor breed, because this is the only picture I could see that even showed lacing on a tan pattern. 2 points in the American breed. If you can't find the lacing, how much are you going to knock it? 0.1 point? When you get down to a long-haired cavy. Next, please. Okay, try to remember these pictures, okay? As we get to the end, we're going to do a little bit of discussion on them. This is one of Lucas's marten Peruvians. You can see the top color, you can see the marking color, the belly band, you can see markings on it. So when we get to the end, I want you to start telling me how many points are you going to deduct off of this cavy for any faults with the color. Next slide. This is a coronet, slate tan coronet. You can easily see the eye circles, the nostril markings. The P-spots are going to be here under that coronet, so you have to lift up and peek for them. Next slide. This is the next slide that we need to remember. This is a black tan coronet, one of Hannah Dunlop's coronets. You see belly band, eye circles, nostril markings, body color, oh, I sweet. Next. Silkie. This was my very first tan pattern long hair. So it She came from a smooth-coated mother and a long-coated father, so I was very impressed, very thrilled to get long coat in my first generation like that. Nostril markings, eye circles, P-spots are fairly easy to see on the Silkies. Belly band, again, fairly easy to see. Pick the animal out, you got your belly band there. This is, I think, one of the ones we need to remember, but next slide. Martin Silkie, I had to include this picture. This is one that I sold to a youth member and she coded it out. I know it's a very dark picture, but this kid did an amazing job with this animal. And the eye circles really glow. Next. Otter Texel. I think this is one we need to remember. I should have reviewed this before. Yeah, all the markings on the head, easy to see. P-spots, you gotta look for them. Belly band, again, you get that bit muddier look on the belly band of the long-haired cavies. Next slide, please. Martin Texel. Again, your top color, same issues you get with the top color on your Americans. They tend to have colors with undercolor, and you can see this guy does have a faded out undercolor on his top color. Belly band, again, muddy belly. But all the head markings are quite visible. Next slide. This is a newborn Lilac 10 Texel. You can see everything on this, just like your Americans. Next slide. This is one at weaning time. And again, like an American, everything's right there for you to see. Easy to see. Next slide. This is a different little guy. Again, the belly band is quite obvious and easy to see on the little ones. The head markings are all there. Next slide. This is as it grows. Things are starting to get hidden. There's no line of demarcation. There is a line of demarcation, it's just under the coat. Next slide. Yeah, so these are old pictures, so the quality isn't great. Senior. This is a headshot of them, so the markings are there. You just have to look for them. Next slide. Okay, the ones we need to remember were the Peruvian from slide 9, the Coronet from slide 11, the Silkie from slide 12, and the Texel from slide 14. So you have to remember, 5 of your color points are with the quality of the colors, the body color, the marking color. The other 5 points are on all those markings, with 1.5 points going to that belly band, the other points going to all the rest of the markings. So there is a little recap on the next slide. These are all the animals. So how many points are we going to mark each one on their top color? Yeah, I would say no more than 1. The weakest one in here is the Silkie, the undercolor on the Silkie. What about marking color?
I would say the Texel on the bottom would be the one I'd mark off the most.
Yeah. But again, you're not going to hit it for much because it's just worth such a little amount of points. What about the markings themselves? Remember, you've only got like, was it 3.5 points total on all of those markings?
Again, probably less than a point.
Exactly. So we're looking at animals that, everything else considered, are all probably 95-point animals. So you cannot justify using the standard and say, well, this animal is going to be at the bottom of the pile on the quality of the colors, the quality of the markings.
Well, it depends on the quality of the rest of them.
Right, if everything else is equal, which I know very, very rarely happens. But it's important when you judge the long hairs to consider just how little these markings actually are worth. As long as they're obviously a tan pattern and their color is reasonable, you can give it close to full 10 points for your color. So do you have any questions? Yes, sir.
When you're judging the long hair tan pattern animals, it's no different from judging the rest of the long hair animals.
Exactly, exactly.
You're basically judging the coat first and the type of the animal. And if you're coming down, you first want to make sure it's a proper color. It doesn't have to be good, but it's just a showable color. Once it's a showable color, you sort of put that on the back burner, look at the rest of the animal, and if you have a tiebreaker you're looking for, then you go to the color points. Because there's so few points on it, that may be the only thing you can break the tie with. But generally, that's the last thing you look at.
So if you had a seal tan, you would disqualify that because that's not an acceptable top color for that breed. Something else just crossed my mind.
How about eye colors?
Eye color has to match the description, the top description of the top color.
Just like tan in there, all the whole.
Exactly, right.
Same scenario.
Yes.
So how far, for the very muddy belly color, which is a disqualification, how far would you extend like benefit of the doubt in this case before you would
With long
disqualify?
hairs, I'm probably more lenient than I would be on an American because the standard says to allow for the muddier color on belly bands and long haired kids.
Plus you have longer hair on the belly, so your color shows.
You're going to see the undercolor exactly.
Especially with a Texel or something with the curl. It's gonna make the belly color more, or the undercolor more apparent because it's, you know, curling.
I know I had one lady who was quite upset. Well, now that we have these tans in other breeds, how come the belly band isn't worth as all those points? Well, there's not that many points to spread out. Any more questions?
That's a good little machine. I love the how small it is.